Who actually needs a 20-ton H-frame press that runs on both air and hand power? If you're a DIY mechanic, small shop owner, or even a hobbyist who occasionally presses bearings, bushings, or straightens bent parts, this machine might look like overkill until you realize how many times you've wished you had something stronger than a vise or a hammer. The Baileigh 20-ton air/hand-operated H-frame press could be the tool that finally saves you from jury-rigging repairs or outsourcing work that should take minutes, not days. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Let's talk real-world setup first. This isn't one of those compact benchtop units that fits on a shelf. It's a full-size H-frame that needs floor space and a solid base. If your garage or shop already has a sturdy workbench or a dedicated press area, you'll slide it right in. The adjustable table is a practical touch. You can raise or lower it to match the height of the part you're pressing, which saves your back and keeps the work stable. That's the kind of feature you only appreciate once you've struggled with a fixed-height press that forces you to hunch over or prop up heavy parts with scrap wood. Now, the dual operation matters more than you might think. Air power is fast for repetitive jobs. Think pressing multiple bushings in a row or straightening a bent axle. But not every shop has an air line running to the press area, and that's where the hand pump shines. It's not as quick as air, but it gives you control when you need precision or when you're working in a space without compressed air. The hand pump isn't just an afterthought, it's a genuine fallback for when the air line isn't an option. Let's get specific about where this press earns its keep. If you're replacing wheel bearings, pressing out old seals, or installing new ones, the 20-ton capacity means you're not fighting the tool. A lot of smaller presses max out at 12 tons, and you end up struggling with parts that shouldn't be that hard to remove. This one handles the tough jobs without hesitation. The stroke length of 7.5 inches is also useful. It gives you enough room to work with larger parts without constantly readjusting. That might not sound like a big deal until you're trying to press a bearing into a housing that's already halfway on, and you realize your old press doesn't have the reach. But here's the catch, this press isn't for everyone. If you're a weekend warrior who only presses small parts occasionally, a 12-ton or even an 8-ton model might be more than enough. You'll save space, money, and the hassle of setting up an airline. This Baileigh press is for people who press parts regularly or deal with larger, heavier components. It's also not a portable tool. Once it's bolted down, it's staying put. If you need to move it around the shop or store it in a tight space, look elsewhere. Another thing to consider is the learning curve. The hand pump requires some effort, and if you're used to air-assisted presses, you might find it slower. But if you're patient, it's reliable. The flip side is that air-powered presses can be inconsistent if your compressor isn't up to the task. If your airline pressure drops under load, you'll feel it in the press's performance. That's not a flaw in the Baileigh, it's just something to check before you commit. So, who should buy this press? If you're running a small auto shop, a fabrication side hustle, or even a serious DIY garage where you're pressing bearings, bushings, or straightening parts on a regular basis, this press is worth the investment. It's built to handle the jobs that smaller presses can't, and the dual operation gives you flexibility. The adjustable table and 20-ton capacity mean you're not constantly fighting the tool, and the CE approval adds a layer of safety and compliance that's important if you're working in a professional setting. Who should skip it? If you're not pressing parts often or you're dealing with smaller, lighter jobs, a smaller press will save you money and space. If you don't have a dedicated spot for a floor-standing press or you can't run an airline to it, the convenience factor drops significantly. And if you're not comfortable with the hand pump's slower pace, you might find yourself frustrated. At the end of the day, the Baileigh 20-ton air/hand-operated H-frame press is a tool for people who need a workhorse. It's not flashy, but it's built to last and designed to handle the jobs that break smaller presses. If that's you, it's worth the price. If not, you'll be happier with something more compact. Check it out on Amazon using the link in the description. It might be the